Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Hey, I've had a little bit more time to do some more geeking out on the matter of Garland v. VanDerStock. Had an opportunity to read through a lot of the armchair quarterbacks and pontificators, but I do honestly appreciate their opinion and insight. They are very sharp people. So I've had a chance to digest a lot of this. I've had a chance to read some other blogs that cover the Supreme Court, and I got to tell you something. I don't like what I'm hearing about this case. So today, let's spend a few minutes, let's break it all down, and let's explain why. Ever want to build from an 80% lower? Better do it now while you can. Okay, listen, before we get going too far down the road we're going down, I want to talk to you about the biggest threat to democracy that we really know right now. And of course, that is mainstream media and social media platforms censoring our free speech. Yeah, there is democracy on the ballot, in fact, this year. Now, a lot of people might think that, well, that's just a conspiracy theory, except, well, Mark Zuckerberg came out and said that's exactly what happens. Well, maybe we should also take a look that the type of speech that is always trying to be canceled or censored always ultimately proves to be true. I mean, after all, if someone's talking gibberish, you just let them keep talking. Well, maybe then we should also ask, why is the FDA trying to turn NMN into a prescription drug? Well, maybe we should ask our good friends over at Black Forest Supplements. You see, NMN is vital for the function of over 37 trillion cells in your body. And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. We got a study linked up down below from Harvard Medical School. We got another one linked up down below from the National Institutes of Health that talk about the extreme health benefits of NMN. Listen, I'm at an age right now where I do need to concern myself with how I'm aging. And I will tell you that NMN, plus all the other supplements I'm taking from Black Forest Supplements, are making a huge difference in my life and can in yours as well. So right now, I've asked my friends at Black Forest Supplements to give my followers a special discount because I want you guys to have the chance to get your hands on this before any potential restrictions come through from the FDA. So for the next 48 hours, check it out. You can buy 2 and get a third one free. Listen, there may be a day where you have to actually get a prescription from your doctor before you can try this amazing supplement. But in the meantime, you can get them directly from Black Forest Supplements. So check them out today and grab some for yourself and take advantage of the buy 2, get 1 free offer while it lasts. For more information, visit my good friends at blackforestsupplements.com/gun. Okay, America, the case we're talking about today, and we have talked about it many, many times before, is Garland v. VanDerStock. This is a successful challenge to ATF's rules on unfinished frames and receivers, or what we sometimes call chunks of aluminum or polymer. Now, the Fifth Circuit had vacated this rule. The United States government appealed to the United States Supreme Court. The United States Supreme Court accepted review. We had oral argument on it this week, and all the prognosticators, the people who were either in the courtroom or watching live or really understand things, every single person is saying that they don't think the arguments went particularly well for VanDerStock here. And as a matter of fact, a lot of the predictions are coming out that the United States government is actually going to prevail on this case when we get a ruling sometime next spring. I am now of the opinion that I believe that to be the case. It's going to come down to one vote. We're going to break it all down for you. But the bottom line is, if you don't want to watch any more of this video, if you've ever thought about building a firearm from an 80% lower or an unserialized frame or receiver, now might be the time to do it, because I'm not certain you're going to have the ability to do that come next summer. Now, some of you may live in states such as the People's Republic of Washington where you don't get to do that anyways. I am not encouraging you to go out and violate state law, but for those of you who do still live in states that resemble the United States of America, it might be now or never. Let me explain why. If we go back in our time machine and we take a look at when the Fifth Circuit initially enjoined this ruling, there was a petition to the United States Supreme Court for an interlocutory review of that. There were 4 justices at that time that said, nope, there's no reason for us to be even reviewing that. So one could assume that those 4 justices who didn't even want to hear a review on it already kind of had their minds made up. And of course, they would be what we would call in the pro-VanDerStock camp, or inclined to actually find this rulemaking order by the ATF to be unlawful and or unconstitutional. Those 4 justices are Thomas, Alito, Gorsuch, and Kavanaugh, which should come as a surprise to nobody. So, It is our belief that there are already 4 votes in favor of VanDerStock, and it is those 4 justices. Now, there are 3 other justices which we can flat guarantee have never seen a piece of civilian disarmament legislation that they didn't absolutely, positively adore. 2 of them kind of know what they're talking about. The third one is Justice Brown Jackson. The 3 that clearly will be ruling in favor of the United States government are Justices Sotomayor, Kagan, and Brown Jackson. Okay, so right now it is 4 for VanDerStock, 3 for the United States government. Well, that leaves 2 other justices, doesn't it? That's right. And that's where the focus is going to be. And unfortunately, if you go back and you listen to the tapes of the arguments and you go back and you read a lot of other prognosticators, neither Justice Comey Barrett nor Chief Justice John Roberts seem to be particularly persuaded by the arguments coming from the side of VanDerStock. As a matter of fact, I had an opportunity to geek out on SCOTUSblog.com, and I have always found SCOTUSblog.com to be a very objective view of what's going on in the United States Supreme Court. And I will also tell you that every time they make predictions, they're usually right. And SCOTUS Blog also noticed that both Justice Comey Barrett as well as Chief Justice Roberts were incredibly skeptical, if you would, of the arguments that were being proffered by VanDerStock's side, okay? And they seem to be mildly sympathetic to the arguments coming from the Department of Justice. Now, let us also remember that Chief Justice Roberts is the judge who authored the Rahimi opinion. Now, while I don't really have a beef with the ruling itself, I have made several exceptions and continue to make several exceptions to the language that Justice Roberts used. I think there is an inclusion of a ton of sloppy language that ultimately is going to live on in infamy long after the Chief Justice is done from the bench. Justice Comey Barrett, as we know, her comments have kind of been a little bit all over the board. If you track her in the lower courts when she was on the bench there, and you track some of the statements she made, the questions she's asked, where she's come down, there's good things about Justice Comey Barrett. There's some skeptical things about her when it comes to preserving our Second Amendment rights. But clearly, if we're just trying to take the temperature based on the tone of the judge's questions, which I acknowledge is not an exact science, okay? But if that is at all indicating where these justices are coming from, Washington gun law is going to predict that the United States government is going to prevail in the matter of Garland v. VanDerStock by a vote of 5-4. And it will be Chief Justice Roberts as well as Justice Comey Barrett that will join the 3 liberal justices to make that 5-vote majority. If one of them decides to actually side with the inalienable Second Amendment rights and the interest of VanDerStock, then you will have a 5-4 decision in favor of VanDerStock in this case. But again, our prediction is we believe that both Justice Comey Barrett and Chief Justice Roberts are going to side with the 3 liberal justices, and Garland and the United States Department of Justice will prevail by a vote of 5-4. What does that mean for you? Well, you know, if this ATF rule is upheld, ATF will be salivating at the opportunity to start enforcing it. Now, there will be a change in presidential administration between now and that ruling. However, that change may be rather significant, or it may really be identical to the current regime that we're living under. So there's a lot that can go on here between now and then, but the bottom line is, if you've ever thought about just dipping your toes into the unserialized frame or receiver waters, if you ever thought about building a firearm from an 80% lower or building a firearm from a P80 lower or something like that, hey, if you're in a state that you can do it legally, it might be now or never. Okay, we're going to go ahead and link up SCOTUS blog down below and the article they did about Garland v. VanDerStock. I think it's worth a read. If you got any other questions about this or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights, you guys should know how to get a hold of Washington gun law by now. But if you don't, that's okay. That information, it's down there in the description box. If you got an idea for a video we should be doing around here, tell us by clicking on that link right there. Let us know, because it's probably going to be better than any idea we come up with. If you just want to subscribe to our monthly newsletter, the ability to do all of that is down there in the description box. And then finally, and most importantly, let's everyone remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation, how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching, and stay safe.